Hey, what's going on, people? Let me go ahead and do a somewhat quick video here. Get this out the way. Basically, I saw Jason Unruh, of course, do another video about, he's talking shit about China, basically. Oh, well, they're not socialists, this and that. They have private property. And I say to myself, why is it that, a lot of what's going on, Will DeMarco? Why is it that so many people are they have their panties in a twist over China, and they're just like, China is so bad, it's so evil, wham, wham, wham. And it's just like, China is what it is, in my view. It's not up to you or anyone else to define it, Guaylo or Lao Huai. It's not up to you, white man, But more to the point, I think there's a good bit of whataboutism here. Is why isn't it that nobody talks about Cuba? You don't hear any of them talk about Cuba, do you? I've never heard it. They will just say, oh, well, how dare China do this? Oh, how dare China do that? But then when it comes to Cuba, they're just like, well, Cuba is under embargo and, it's not doing well economically, so it's okay that they have private property as a treat. It mads me to no end, where it's just the hypocrisy of it all. Where it's like, yeah, it does suck what goes on in Cuba. But to sit here and badmouth China and everything else, to me, there's a lot of hypocrisy there. At least that's my take on it. Let's go ahead and look at this article right quick. This is from last year, February 27th. So this just talks a little bit about it. This was voted by 87%. The new constitution was overwhelmingly endorsed by 87% of the voters backing it. Cuba's National Electoral Commission said on Monday that 7,848,343 people voted in the referendum, 90.5% of the eligible voters. Of these, 6,816,169 voted to approve it, while 706,400 voted against it, and 300,000 ballots were spoiled. The new constitution had been subject to extensive consultation over a period of months, with many amendments being accepted before a final version went to the people. It is a response to some new realities as well as some old problems confronting. I'm not going to read every single minute of this, but the thing is, so what happens? A new generation. Meanwhile, U.S. hostilities and economic blockades persist. Economic productivity lags. Personal income is low. The debt load increases. Okay. In the face of these and other challenges, the new constitution preserves the dominant role of public ownership, even as it provides a constitutional basis for private property and private business for the first time. However, it still commits the country to advancing toward a communist society, the latter inserted because of feedback from the public after having been written as socialist society in the initial draft. Changes from Cuba's prior constitution involve recognition of the role of private and cooperative businesses, changes to the system of government, including reintroduction of the role of prime minister, so the head of state and head of government are no longer one office, as they have been since 1976, and the institution of 2 5-year term limits for president. The replacement of provincial assemblies with provincial governors and judicial changes, bolstering citizens' rights to legal representation, the presumption of innocence, and the right not to be held without trial. The new charter also forbids discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity for the first time. Oh, really? It's interesting that people were saying, evangelical Christians, among others, had called for a vote against on the grounds that the Constitution changed. I'm sorry, I'm a little sleepy. Francisco Rodriguez, a member of the Communist Party of Cuba, and we're going to skip past that. Mariela Castro, the daughter of former President Raul Castro, erases the gender binarism. And a heterosexuality that previously defined marriage under the 1976 Constitution. Excuse me. Marxist professor Harold Cardenas, however, said that the fundamental human rights should not be the subject of a public vote. Equal rights to marriage in Cuba should be a presidential decree, not a referendum that exonerates the state from responsibility and opens the door to conservative homophobia. The new document also maintains a constitutional declaration that the Communist Party of Cuba plays a leading role in Cuban society and that its ideology of Marxism and Leninism guides policy. As it took place immediately after the U.S.-backed border provocations in Venezuela. So there we go. Brief little article there. Yeah. Not based. Definitely not. I was just saying is that I don't really get this whole, there's this very false dichotomy that exists where it's like, let's go ahead and let's dunk on China and let's dunk on all the dang tards and all that business. But then they don't want to talk about what goes on in Cuba. Now I've got another article here. It's probably a little bit less accurate, but I'm going to say it nonetheless here. So this is how Cubans are using Bitcoin to skirt U.S. trade embargo. A YouTuber in Cuba is teaching his followers how to use cryptocurrencies to circumvent U.S. government sanctions. Do you smell ANCAP, gang? Do you smell it? Once again, this is something that, this is September 20th, so this is yesterday that came out. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Cryptocurrencies are a way to be a little more integrated into the globalized world, says Elish Garcia Cruz, a Cuban resident who uses YouTube to teach locals how to use Bitcoin to skirt government restrictions and the U.S. trade embargo. The Cuban government curbs internet access, and a U.S. trade embargo restricts imports. Cruz, creator of the Bacho Cubano channel, okay, let me take a look at that. We'll go ahead and see how biased it is. No habla español, but we'll go ahead and see what we can look at there. The Cuban government curbs internet access, thinks that Bitcoin could help Cubans get around the roadblocks. For 6 months, the 33-year-old Havanan has been teaching his 28,000 followers how to buy Bitcoin and jump into the throngs of global markets. I believe that cryptocurrencies are a magnificent solution to thousands of current problems in Cuba. That's why we want to teach and give the best ways to use them to solve our daily problems at all costs. The influencer told Portal do Bitcoin. The two market flows in Cuba. Cruz says that the market for technology products is completely controlled by the state and is limited to state-owned stores. High-tech products only arrive when citizens, family members, and tourists bring products usually from the USA on commercial flights. That is a big thing, These products are sold through informal networks. That's how Cruz buys equipment that he presents on his channel. Cubans also don't have access to credit or debit cards. That's probably for the best. Cruz only managed to access the money he made from his YouTube channel when he closed. Wait a minute. How does he get ad revenue? How does this fool get ad revenue? See, look, there's a lot of Fed type of stuff here. So let's go ahead and continue on. Okay, Cubans also don't have access to credit cards or debit cards. Cruz only managed to access the money he made from his YouTube channel when a close family member who lives in the U.S. shipped goods to Cuba. Cruz said the COVID-19 pandemic has seriously affected the informal trade markets, which is depressed at the moment, and there are no commercial flights. Demand grew, but supply became chaotic. Cryptocurrencies as a solution, that's where Bitcoin comes in. It allows Cubans to participate in the global economy without relying on informal markets. For Cruz, Bitcoin provided financial freedom and greater control of the money he earns. That is why we are looking for solutions that allow Cubans, for example, to buy cryptocurrencies, trade them in international markets for other currencies, and operate with them. Cruz wants to teach his followers how to use cryptocurrencies for transactions. He also wants to warn them about the many pyramid schemes and scams that seek to attract the uninformed. Buying Bitcoin in Cuba. 6 months ago, Cruz posted his first video on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. He started to teach his followers how to buy Bitcoin from Cuba. Cruz demonstrates that Cubans must buy cryptocurrency from people who buy the coins from abroad or have relatives to do so. If Cubans don't have any friends or relatives willing to buy or sell Bitcoin on their behalf, Cruz says that groups on WhatsApp, Telegram, web platforms make it easy for buyers to find sellers. Thanks to cryptocurrencies, Cubans can make purchases on major international sites and subscribe to digital services such as Amazon and Netflix. However, because of all this relies on informal networks, cryptocurrency is usually sold above market rate. But since it's the only way for Cubans to buy Bitcoin, they don't have many other options. So there we go. So what do y'all think about that? Once again, this has been said before, though, is that this is why a lot of folks cope. A lot of these folks who are buried in Marxist doctrine, they love to cope. They're like, China isn't socialist, and China not doing good things. You know what I'll say? Be like, yeah, okay. I'm not going to say that China is completely socialist. What I will say though is, why do you reinforce the United States and reinforce neoliberalism? I mean, you could say that you're not doing that all day, but to me, you kind of are. It's the same thing where people will, where anarchists will support the Hong Kong protests and will ignore the fact that it just doesn't make any. Once again, this is some real galaxy brain type shit. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy, Bachu Cubano's
A través
YouTube
de este
channel.
método, si se dan cuenta, podemos comprar un camión de
Marcus
tarjetas
Brownlee. That name
de
sounds
internet para consumir productos o servicios.
Bachu Cubano.
Muy buena, mi gente, un saludo desde Cuba. Olvídense de tu envío. Ya tu envío, chao. Bueno,
how does this guy make so many, no, helpless Espanol, but it's like, how does a Cuban get to, I'm not smart enough for Bitcoin. Yeah, me neither. I've heard of this dude. I've heard this name before, Marcus Brownlee. So what's his brother doing? Talking about Xbox, talking with, oh lordy.
Oh, so you must have been like one of the earliest people on YouTube then.
Sell out. Here we go.
I would consider myself like in the second wave of YouTube. There's a lot of like OG YouTubers from like 2007.
Yeah.
That's like
He's talking with Lizard Man. It makes me laugh when I see this type of thing. Once again, this is why I really don't understand when people are just like, oh, well, look at what China's doing. Oh, they're not socialist. And it's like I said, I'll just repeat myself at this point, but just in case, for the other person that just tuned in, and for anyone that does watch this later on and says, Lamau, Cope, or whatever the case may be, go ahead, you can. But what I will say is, why is it that you guys will shit on China all day? And then when it comes to Cuba, it's like, well, Cuba does good things. They send doctors from all, they send doctors to all over the world, like Italy and Russia or whatever the case may be. Ooh, they do good things. And then you motherfuckers, be like, but they also get Bitcoin. And of course, like I say, I mean, no one, only big brain niggas apparently use Bitcoin, but it's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's my take on it anyway. It's like, okay. I don't really like the whole, I mean, what else is there to say about, Bitcoin and all that stuff? I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm not going to sit here and go completely handicapped, be like, it's going to save everything, bro. But I do think that there is, it is something that, has been out for a while. Yeah. Do you like smoked meats? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, that's all I can really say. I mean, when people want to talk, it's like, yeah, I know low libertarians are a joke, and they will never completely be relevant. But it's like, I will say the same thing, though, is that Bitcoin is a very complex thing. And I think, yeah, I mean, it is highly volatile, yes. And I think that, I don't know. I think I've wasted enough time as it is. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling, being a goober. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit too sleepy, so maybe tomorrow when I get some extra time to get shit done, I will do another live stream. But I think I've said my piece. I do want to thank, of course, Will DeMarco and Timogen. I'm sure that YouTube has not been showing up the recommendations. It hasn't been shown. If you click on the bell, for some reason my videos aren't coming up or my live streams aren't coming up. So when this comes out in the future, maybe tomorrow, when YouTube does eventually get it, I will say, I guess, that I hope that you enjoyed this video. It makes you think, like I say. It's really all I have to say, really. The debates are coming up, I think, in 8 days, I think. You didn't miss much. No, just did. Basically, I can simplify it into this. We were talking about how Cuba allows private property now. And also for the fact that some Cubans are using Bitcoin. Or promoting Bitcoin. Which, of course, is something that's much more known for libertarians. And ANCAPs. And, of course, in general, the left has not embraced Bitcoin the same way as, these ANCAPs or lowbirds have. And I mean, basically, my whole thesis for this video is, okay, why is it that people will shit on China? And they'll just say, oh my gosh, they allow private property. Look at all these billionaires in China. But then they won't say anything about Cuba having private property. You see what I'm saying? I never hear a fucking word about that. And, I remember looking at I was looking at not Caleb Hobbit, Jason Unruh's comment section on his recent video, and I saw this one guy, he had the Lenin Avi and everything, and he's like, oh, getting jobs for the boys isn't socialism, doesn't equal socialism. Mao was too nice to the capitalist scum. And it's like, what LARP? How many levels of LARP are you on? And it's like, are you, would you say that, Cuba is filled with capitalist scum who are selling Bitcoin? It's like, look, you think that, I think that it's so oversimplified, where it's just like, oh, well, if they, you can only kill so many people. I'm just going to go mask off here, but it's like, you can only kill so many people. And it's like, and you can't prevent the next generation from becoming like that. You can't. If they're in a bad situation, and even if you raise them a certain way, there's no guarantee that they're going to automatically do what the hell you say. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of cringe. But yeah, that's basically my point. I've said my piece. Everything else, I think that's about it. So yeah, like I said, I apologize for my voice being a little bit hoarse. I just didn't sleep well. I purposely went to bed later because I'm a bummy guy. But yeah, I think I'll keep it there. I don't think there's much else to say here. Like I say, we got a little bit more left with the Green Book by Gaddafi, but we are going to read that next time, and I think we'll keep it there. So yeah, yep, definitely fist up. Let's go ahead and do the fists, and we'll go ahead and close this baby out. There we go. We'll go ahead and drop that in there. There we go. Now let's go ahead and hit it. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all for sticking around for 20 minutes. I basically just repeated myself over and over, but that's Boomer Gang for you. So hashtag Boomer Gang. That's what we do. We repeat ourselves. I'm sorry. That's what I am. Okay. Let's keep it there. Y'all have a good one, and goodbye. Okay. Oh shit. Okay.